Hello, everybody. Today, 1st of February 2023. And as you can see, we have the full team here. Our dear friend Vanessa will join us in a couple of minutes. And the reason is because we are celebrating 2 years of our show. So it's 104 lives throughout 2 years. It's amazing. It's a pleasure to be here. You who are watching us here, you don't know how benefit what you are doing to ourselves. So I will talk more a little bit later, but let's go to our good night from our friends here. So let's start with Miss Gibbons.
Hello, good evening, everyone. A special day today. We are all here, which is really nice to be together and to talk about Spiritism. What is better than that? So, welcome, everyone, and it's going to be very enlightening, very, very short. We're all going to learn. And boa tarde a todos. Bem-vindos nesse dia especial, que nós vamos falar sobre Espiritismo. E que nós vamos aprender muito com certeza, e é muito especial de estarmos todos juntos nessa ocasião. Que Jesus nos abençoe a todos.
Amém. So let's go now to Lithuania. Labas, Nadja.
Labas vakaras. Dabar yra labas vakaras, bet mes galime ir labą dieną, labas rytas. Šią savaitę mes galime švęsti 2 metus mūsų laidos. Mes kalbėsime apie spiritismą visame pasaulyje ir kaip mes galime dar populiarinti spiritizmą. Ir šiandien mes visi esame čia kartu ir tikiuosi, kad bus jums labai įdomu. Mums yra labai, labai gera vakaras ir mes tikrai esame labai laimingi, kad mes esame čia su jumis. So, hello, good evening. I'm sorry, I'm very excited. Just be here speaking in Lithuanian and talking to you about Spiritism. So we're gonna bring to you a little bit more information, a little bit of history, a little bit of our 2 years of lives. So hope you enjoy. Have a good night. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Nadja. Thank you, Nadja. Buenas noches, Rodrigo. ¿Cómo estás?
Pues muy bien, muy alegre y contento de estar aquí con vosotros una vez más, de hacer parte de este equipo maravilloso, con quien aprendo mucho en todas las veces que estoy, las veces que acompaño y que no puedo participar también. Muchas gracias a todos que nos acompañan, que están con nosotros. Es una oportunidad de aprender en conjunto, estamos aquí entre corazones que son amigos, ¿no? De esta doctrina maravillosa que es el espiritismo. Y hoy hablaremos justamente de esto, ¿no? De difundir el espiritismo, de ayudar con que las personas conozcan, ¿no? Esta doctrina que tanto consola, que tanto ilumina nuestras vidas, que conduce nuestro espíritu, nuestra mente, nuestro corazón para las leyes divinas, para nuestra armonía, nuestra paz, nuestro amor, ¿no? Para con nosotros. Y muchas gracias. So thank you all. It's a pleasure to be here once again with this great team who I learned a lot with. It's a great opportunity, and here we are talking exactly about that. So to spread Spiritism, this great doctrine which helps us all to learn how to be harmonized, how to find peace, how to learn love and to spread love, and that's it. So thank you for this opportunity once again to be here, and I hope you enjoy as I do, as we all do. Thank you.
Great, great. Miss Rossi, how are you, my dear?
I am fine in south of Brazil, but I feel myself immersed in this wonderful team. And with you all here in this beautiful room, we started it 2 years ago. These wonderful events in the middle of pandemic times. And now we carry on because people surprisingly enjoy so much participating, giving suggestions and asking and comments, etc. And we interact not only in the time that we are here now with you all that are here, and some people that I'm seeing here in our chat, but as we are friends and carry on together, we feel ourselves so blessed. And we should and we must flourish where we are planted. So I'm flourishing here, but I'm still in the branch of European spiritual light. So, with you all, my dear Silvia, Charles, Nadja, Vanessa, Rodrigo, Stevan, we know that we are a team that enjoy what we are doing in this wonderful language, English. So everyone in the world can participate and interact with us. Thank you all for spreading the word and spreading Spiritism in the world. Thank you very much.
And to finalize here, our friend Monsieur Kempf. Ça va, ma Charles?
Bonsoir à tous. Bonjour Stevan. Très heureux. Ben oui, ça fait 100 émissions, 2 ans, 104 pour être précis. Et donc, de cette idée qui est partie il y a 2 ans, effectivement, pendant la pandémie, et puis finalement qui a pris racine, parce qu'il y a du succès, parce que vous êtes là, vous nous envoyez des commentaires positifs qui nous encouragent, et donc voilà, on rentre dans un cercle vertueux de diffusion de cette très belle doctrine. Hello everyone, very happy again to be here. Second year, 104 lives in total. So it's an idea who started like this during pandemics. We should do something, and at the end it took some roots, and now we are continuing because you are here sending us a comment and encouraging us to continue this dissemination work. And I must admit also, as a French person, I admire a lot all what is done throughout the world, including these emissions that I'm participating to, just following this basis that Allan Kardec brought 160 years ago. And for me, this is really something outstanding. Thanks a lot to all.
And on time, as always, the mentor who gave us the opportunity to be here in these 2 years of Spiritual Light Show. And I want to say beforehand, my dear Vanessa, thank you. And please, it's your turn to do your introduction.
Thank you, friends. Thank you for the patience. The traffic was huge, but I'm so happy to be here. And I didn't give anybody an opportunity. You guys had a bright idea. And I said, please bring it to Kardec Radio. And God is the one that makes it all happen. So I'm very happy to see that after 2 years, I hear so many people commenting about this program. And the funniest comment that I've heard was, oh, but what Vanessa says, the way she says about Spiritism in the morning prayer, it is different from the people who are doing the spiritual light. And say, what way? Because they talk more about science. Well, but at morning prayer, we're not supposed to talk about science, right?
Yeah.
But it's so beautiful, the feedback, how many people are being truly enlightened by this program, Spiritual Light. And I think it's fascinating. You know, we are living at a moment when I've heard in Brazil alone, even exchanging messages with Divaldo Franco and others, that many people are not back yet to the Spiritist centers because they want to be in tune with the Spiritism online.
Hmm.
So it's so interesting to see this new era of Spiritism that we're still trying to make sense of, but it's worthwhile going on. So congratulations for the wonderful work. I'm happy to be here and to support this beautiful program.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. So, my friends, today I didn't prepare any schedule for us because we are, let's say, the full team. It is here with today, and I want to run this as a nice conversation and a topic we love it, spreading spiritism all over the world. That's that's our idea here. Our main intention is spread spiritism in English. It's not. Some people, I have some comments say, "Oh, but you don't do the talk in Portuguese." Why? There are such a lot of wonderful shows in Brazil. People doing really astonishing job there. Let's keep them doing their job there, and let's do something at least similar or very close. Because the quality there is amazing. They have all these books already in Portuguese, but we don't have too many books in English, and we don't have many books like in Spanish. Even though in French we do have a lot of books, but we have more books about Kardec, about Delane, about Lourdes Madot from Chico. So that's our main job here, and uh, the idea today is let's talk about it. What do you think, guys? Thumbs up. But first of all, I want to say good evening to Camille Brilla. It is with us since the beginning. Thank you, my friends. Marco Davis, Ruben de los Santos in Uruguay, my friend. Thank you. Luviem in Brazil. Saul in UK. Thank you. Marco Davis, always with us. It's wonderful to have all of you here.
Stevan,
Yeah.
I'd like to mention something that for me is very important. Since we started Spiritual Light, we had the insight to start talking the year of Leon Denis in 2021. And now this year is the year of Gabriel Delanne. And Charles always started 1st of January these lives and talk a lot about the Spiritism magazine, the Review Spirit, that Kardec Radio make a lot of comments during so many years. So this is the great opportunity to show to the world that Spiritism has a lot of people behind in the Kardec time, or start with Kardec, as Gabriel Delane, Leon Denis, and others. And we slowly are getting there. So before that, people didn't know who is Leon Denis, who is Kardec, who is Gabriel Delane. And now we are making this as a reality. Yeah, Vanessa?
It's so interesting you're saying that because we just finished the whole organization of our library at it's not a bookstore. We have the bookstore at the Spiritual side of Virginia, but we organized the library.
So we donated all the books, other people donated, and then we have a whole bunch of books there. And we organize. Of course, the English speaking written section is much smaller, but it's existent. And then there I have books when we started doing these works in English in the year 2001. And I remember when I started these works at the Spiritist Society of Baltimore in English, we were studying on the books that were translated by, forgot her name right now. I forgot if anybody remembers. And she was Kardec's acquaintance. She translated from French into English, living in England.
Anna Blackwell.
Yes, Anna Blackwell. Thank
Bertozzo,
you,
yeah.
Charles. And then we didn't have anything else. And then little by little, more books came along. We started have substantial more books after the year 2007. By the year 2007, when Spiritism completed 150 years, that's when the Spiritist Council back then, in the hands of the amazing Nestor Mazzotti, and Charles was there, and Cesar Perry and others, and Elsa. You guys started doing this amazing work, bringing more books in English, more. Nowadays, I would say we have a good number of books and materials, including the Spiritist magazine in English, to which reached already its 60th issue, materials for people to study, to do the works. There is no excuse whatsoever. When we started in 2001, compared to nowadays, it's like we're in a different area. And then it made me recall when immigrants in Brazil at Kardec's time were actually the ones who had their hands in Spiritism. They were not first and foremost Brazilians, and those who were, they needed to be versed in French, to know directly in French, to begin the works. They didn't have Chico Xavier's books. Imagine Professor Euripides Barçanufo, the renowned, the most complete Spiritist medium, according to Chico Xavier, was Euripides Barçanufo in Sacramento, Brazil. He didn't have more than what Leon Denis' books, and maybe Gabriel Delany, I don't know, but certainly Kardec's, no Chico Xavier's, because Chico Xavier's books came later. He discarnates in 1918. Chico Xavier then was only 8 years old. And we didn't have much more than that. When Dr. Bezerra de Menezes discarnated in Brazil, it was 1900, the 1900. What did we have there? Kardec's books, Leon Denis. And these are Spiritists who had a few books, but the solid books, and they did amazing works. When you see people nowadays saying, oh, but I can't teach children because I don't have books. Oh, really? We have 10,000 books. Luis Rivas alone has a beautiful series that he created during the pandemic in Spanish, English, and Portuguese, covering the bases of Spiritism, and our centers around the world are using it. So nowadays we have a wealth of resources, and we would like to see more people rolling their sleeves and saying, let's get to work. Like I saw Angie Stewart. I have to say this, Angie Stewart, who used to be in New York, now she's in Miami. She was at the Inner Enlightenment Spiritist Society. She created the Miami Inner Enlightenment Spiritist Society, and yesterday they had the official opening of the headquarters. And that's what we need, more of this, more people gathering together and sharing online, but being in person. You know, you have to be in person as well. And we're sharing here, but we need to do both, right? Spreading Spiritism presentially and also online. Recently, I wrote an article for a magazine in Brazil, and it's going to come up in the Spiritist magazine as well, where I outline research that talks about the difference between being presential and online. When we're talking about spreading Spiritism, we can spread all we want in words, but it's really going to solidify itself if we are in person. No wonder Jesus had to come in person to make manifest the law of love. So I think we have to spread both ways, don't you guys think?
Yes.
Absolutely agree. The person you wanted to talk about is Anna Blackwell, Vanessa. She was the one who did the translation. I think it's far better than anything that has been done lately in the last few years. Her translation is, I think, is more loyal to the original of the Spiritism. It's the one I work with, actually. I think, I don't know if I jumped in, but I was thinking, while you were saying about the presential, I was thinking about Emmanuel, in the Consolador, how he talks about Spiritism and the work that we need to do, and how we show others through our work, not only self-enlightenment, but also help people to understand. And it's a work to do with the souls. And I think it's wonderful to do online, and especially in a situation like this that we're so far away from each other. But we go to our own groups, and I think we need to establish and go back again and do some grounding work, with the rank and file, as they say, because that's why we need to be, I think. Thank you, everyone.
Good.
Yeah, I would like to just comment for us here in Lithuania, for me, who don't have this the spiritual center, the Spiritist center, no spiritual center that we have, but the Spiritism in Lithuania, it's still getting there. But I think I'm very grateful that we have the spiritual light, that we can create this connection between the countries. But for me, it's also very important to have this online videos and talks in English, so we can share, because as Stevan said, in Portuguese we have a lot of work, and I'm privileged that I can speak Portuguese and learn Spiritism and read all the books, and Chico Xavier's and Emmanuel and André Luis, my favorite. But also it's very important that we can share to the world in the English language. So from Japan to Lithuania, from Lithuania to Argentina, and back to the United States. I think that's very, very important that we can share the Spiritism ideas and all the knowledge that we're getting and sharing between us and with all the viewers. But also I want to thank the Kardec Radio for the podcasts, because they are also wonderful with so many interviews. And we were talking about science, then we talk about science here, but you talk a lot about science, and it's very for the world. I think it's important that we can connect, link the science part of the spiritual life. And for me it's interesting, and that's how I got also connected to spiritism. So I can get this sense that, okay, so we have particles, so yes, we have the atoms, and we have the thoughts that we cannot see or explain, but then we have a little bit of explanation, and that is another kind of vibration and energy, and it's all a wonderful word that opens the mind, and it's like mind blowing. So I love the shows, the show, the videos and the lives, and I really appreciate
Mhm.
the efforts of everybody here together to spread the spiritism, but the spiritual life and the spiritual light as well.
Yeah, and um, we can say all these. I- well, I can say for myself, I met a spiritism. I met. Not saying I know Kardec because I know probably 0.01 of Kardec, even though what I'm reading in the Spiritism magazine, but sharing these moments with Charles, talk about the land, talk about all those feeling. I'm beside the couch. Thank you, Charles, and uh, guide us through how process. Talk like deep, but what we don't talk about in Brazil when we are talking about here.
Yes, thank you, Stevan. I think I'm grateful for all of you. Our modest duty is just to put all the information available to everyone for free. We have the Spiritist Encyclopedia website. So, and should you, I see also a comment from Camille saying he's also motivated to work to bring more information in Polish. Thanks God, there are already quite some. From first by Przemek Grzybowski and then later by Konrad Jerzak. We have at least the 5 books of Kardec already in very good translation, by the way, in Polish language. So I'm here really available for anyone who has some doubt about the correct understanding of the French originals and so on. Don't hesitate to come to me. I will immediately do all what I can to help and to assist you, because it's really, I think, one of my priority duty. And there are also the Spiritist magazine who commemorated 165 years in January this year. So initiated by Kardec in January 1858. And he gave us really the example. The first disseminator was himself. And I'm right now also studying a little bit more the travels he made around France and also in Belgium at that time, in order to meet the first Spiritist groups and so on. And it's really amazing the example he gave us and that we are trying to follow. And really, to come back to this spiritual light, it was an idea like this. I thought, okay, let's go. We have not many things in English, so my English is not so good. So it's this famous not very good English, but that everyone more or less can understand, hopefully. And our aim was since the beginning, okay, let's talk to everyone, not specifically to spiritists, but to everyone. Every person who is interested can come and listen. And we really, in these 104 lives we have done, we were really talking about all these basic subjects with regards to the spiritist body of knowledge that enables the persons to get interest into it, and slowly but surely start studying and adhering to this wonderful philosophy. So for me, it's really a pleasure, and thank you, Stevan, and all of you for the work you are doing. Nadja also, there is a spiritist in his most simple expression who must be available in Lithuanian. And okay, let's go and continue doing whatever we can in order to make these wonderful teachings available to the biggest possible number of persons in the humanity, like our dear Nestor Mazzotti told so much. Vanessa, I remember also what you told. All these first books, Nestor coming with the 5 first translation of Chico Xavier in French. For us, it was incredible. And you see, it was in 2005, so only 18 years ago. And now we have something like 100 or even more books from Chico Xavier, Yvonne Pereira, and whoever already translated into French. So the things are really accelerating in dissemination. And I think, okay, what we are doing, I also agree with all of you. We need to meet personally as when we can. But well, this in French at least we have one for sure yearly gathering, which is in the Castle of Végimont. I think some of you came already there to
Beautiful.
know it. It will be in May this year, and it's the gathering of all the French-speaking spiritists who are mostly here around Europe, but also coming sometimes from more far away. But okay, we cannot meet every day, but we can do every week. We have done 100 already, these emissions of spiritual light. We also would clearly welcome your comments. We appreciate a lot when you make comments and suggestions to us. So because first, it encourages us to continue. And second, it's bringing always new ideas that we can embrace and include in our work. So thanks to all of you for all of this.
Thank you. Thank you. And Nadja, um, it's I would say it's not a difficult task for, oh, I'm spreading spiritism in the United States. Okay. I'm spreading spiritism in Ireland. Okay. In UK, it's fine. In Spain, okay. But Lithuania, close to Russia, barriers in
Yeah,
language, because like in English, in Spanish, we don't have a barrier at all, even in French.
yeah.
But in Lithuanian,
It's a challenge.
my
Yeah,
dear,
yeah.
I want to say thank you.
No, I thank you all for the support, and it is challenging. And I have a very good Lithuanian teacher, and I gave her the spirits book, so she could read and follow with me, and then we discuss ideas while we are translating the book. And yeah, maintaining the website and the lives and everything, trying to translate as much as I can so Lithuanians can read in their own language with their with their ideas and culture and understanding, because translating is not just word by word, but is the meaning of the is the context, is the meaning, is the use of the right words to mean that thing and not the other thing, you know. But I think for me, the easiest part is not the language translation, but the example. So I try to put into practice what I'm learning with Spiritism and how I can be a better person, and what about the spiritual life, and what is what we talk about reincarnation um, and Jesus, and about the gospel, and talking to my patients and to friends, to neighbors about, and as much as I can
Yeah,
with people in general, about the spiritual life. And then putting the spiritism idea or the spiritualism into practice, and then people can relate it to the actions, and then go after more information. So, and then when they start talking about when they start being a little bit open to these ideas and to the concepts, then I start talking more, and then I start giving examples, and then I start giving the website to so they can follow, and sometimes in English, sometimes the Lithuanian also website. So that's what I say is the easiest part, but not my easiest part. That's my. It's very difficult because we have our challenges, our uh, light and our shadow that we have to always fight every day. Yeah, when we are tired, when we are sad, when we are not in in a good mood or in pain, and so we have to always try to be in the positive side, in the light side. So that's how I can try to spread the spiritism here in Lithuania, is by example. So I'm trying to be a good example.
You are, my dear. You are. You are. Thank you.
Thank you.
And for you, Miss Gibbons, how
Me,
how is to hold? Because
I
you have been in a BBC TV talking about spiritism. You have, I would say, among us here, more contact with the really British people talking about this. How is challenging and how is wonderful to see they understand what it is spiritism.
um, yes, I mean, I've been in the Spiritist movement here in England for nearly 40 years now. It's amazing how time flies. I think that there's some things, even what Nadja was saying, sometimes, when you talk to someone who doesn't really know anything about spiritism or spiritual life, sometimes it's easier because the person, if they have that curiosity or the desire to learn, because it is in the hearts of every man and women in the world, um, it's sometimes it's easier to come to them with a clear, rather than someone, say for instance here in England, they have a movement, a spiritualist movement, for a very long time, and it's still very active. Many centers there they do have, but they very different. Some of them accept reincarnation, some of them don't. And when you try to talk about spiritism, sometimes can get a bit difficult because they have already preconceived ideas about what spiritism is, what spirituality is, and all that kind of thing. So the only thing that I find is that spiritism is an easy thing to talk about because it's so based on reason and a faith with reason, and it really brings the thing to the person. It's not something out there. Your faith's not out there. You have to have your faith inside of yourself. So sometimes spiritism itself is easy to work with because of that. I remember once, it was very interesting in my group. We had a group in Hammersmith before everything closed down, and there was this Chinese couple came to the door, and we thought maybe they were going to, because there were other things going on in the place, we thought they were going to see something else, and they said no, spiritism. Which was really funny. And they came in and they explained they were from China, and looking in the internet, they saw something about spiritism in London, and they came to England on holiday, and they, looking, they saw a dress that wasn't too far away from where they were staying, so they decided to come to the meeting. And it's wonderful because that day we didn't go on to the meeting, and we just answered their questions. And it was so interesting because they were so curious and actually to know, and they had been reading things in the internet. The internet can be a blessing as well, because we met someone in Poland. Do you remember, Elsa, that she came to the meeting we had there, and she had been studying it online because she had been reading about Spiritism online. And this Chinese couple, I mean, China, in the continent of China, and they were so curious to find out about Kardec. So we gave them a couple of books, in English, so because their English was quite good. And so I think, it's so important for us to be open and to ask the questions that people ask of us. And I think one point as well that Nadja made that is very, very important for all of us, and is a point that Emmanuel actually emphasizes all the time, is the question of the example that we give. And, he always quotes Jesus, because Jesus didn't tell people what to think, but he showed them how to behave. And that's how we as spiritists should be, how we behave, how tolerant can we be, how understanding. And I think another thing as well that, I was reading a bit, and they say, if the other people don't do anything, what the way it should be, whatever, do your part. Always do your part. And I think that's one of the things that Spiritism is so easy to come across, because first we do our own and we show how it's done. And I think people go more by what you say you do, by what you do, than what you say you do. And I think that's why. And also, I mean, how the gospel calls the Spiritists the workers of the last hour. So that is quite a big of responsibility for us who calls ourselves spiritists. So, it's something I absolutely love, and I would love to everybody to be converted. But it will be slowly, but eventually it will come, because I think Emmanuel said something, is a force that exists within us. And eventually this will come out of everyone and they'll find it. Thank you. I think I have to give some to Rodrigo.
Yeah. And for you, Rodrigo, how
Mhm.
is spiritism there? You running your the Punta de Luz, and
Mhm.
how is this experience?
Well, well, actually, it was something which came, and I think I didn't notice it because it was so quickly and so intense that I couldn't no differentiate when I started doing that. So I know myself as a spiritist, or at least I considered myself a spiritist since I was a kid at 13 years old when my mother in Brazil. So I don't know if everyone knows, but I'm Brazilian. I live in Spain, but I'm Brazilian. And then, but I used to follow her, but spiritism was not embedded on me. So I was young. I was a little bit, as young people normally are. And then I think I came back to Spiritism when I was almost reaching 40. And then, but it was full throttle. It was something that invaded me, took control of me, and this was amazing. And I think of course, I didn't come to Spain without a purpose. So it was here when I got closer to Spiritism, and it's interesting to see because there are very strong movement, Spiritist movement in Spain. So I think we reached 300 Spiritist centers before Franco dictatorship, but of course it was destroyed after Franco, and then now we are struggling to recover and also to put back the spiritist centers who closed their doors because of the COVID. It was a pity, but we are here working, and I know that many people here in Spain are fighting to get it back. But I think it was Emmanuel who said that the greatest thing we could do for spiritism is to spread it. And I think I understand that because the greatest thing that Spiritism can do is to fight against materialism. I think Kardec says that in the Gospel. We studied that today in our Spiritist Center, and why? Because it can save someone's life. So materialism is not fighting against, the suicide or the suicide. Spiritism can do that. So the greatest thing we can do for the humanity is to spread Spiritism, because if we do that, we can tell people, hey, we are immortals. So whatever problem you have, this will be somehow eliminated, or this will be solved. uh, but don't succumb, don't take your life, don't quit it, because we are together in this journey, and Spiritism can bring a lot of light for us to understand that and to support it, and to stand for that. Having said that, whenever I am, or wherever I am, and whenever I am with people, I try to say something about the Spiritism, because we never know, so if someone is really needing, we need to have this light or ready for doing that. So our job is to spread it. Simply that. Um, a good example is I was going to the podiatrist, and I used to say about the Spiritism, and then recently she watched the movie, the No Solar, the spiritual, I think, astral world, and she said, oh, I'm interested on that. I remember you saying about that, so I'm interested on that. So I want to go to the Spiritist Center and to learn a little bit more. So that's simple like that. So if we know that our life is immortal, and this is what Spiritism is bringing to you, please spread it whenever you can, wherever you can, whoever you can do it to, because this can save someone's life. And this in the future will be like spread it. But we are the people who are doing that. So this work we are doing here, and especially in English, so which is a language which can be understood somehow in everywhere in the world. So this is what we should do. Let's spread it. Let's make it known, so that we can help humanity to be more, how can I say, in harmony, and fighting against materialism, which is killing many people recently.
Thank you, my friend.
Can I make a comment, Steven?
Let me think.
All right. So thank you. These days, you know what Rodrigo is bringing to us and bringing it all together, what everyone said. Nadja, Silvia, Charles, Elsa. What we have to be attentive is do not be discouraged by difficulties. Today I was talking to our friend Daisy, and she was reminding me of a passage that is in a book that was translated by Kardec Radio. We did the program, 40 Nights with the Promised Consoler, though the book is titled No Roteiro de Jesus. In this book, we are going to find a passage by Jesus when he says to Philip, these are the words, of course, in English. He didn't say it neither in Portuguese. So we're bringing from translation to translation to translation. Here it is. It says, many times the minute issues of the world hinder the march of humanity towards God. Almost always, he's going to say, it's about the small, he says, the insignificant problems of the journey. These are Jesus' words to Philip, saying that not the big things will deter us, the small things. And that's what I see in Spiritist centers around the world. Wonderful workers stopping because I was diagnosed with diabetes. Now I have to take care of my health. All because of my family, all because of my work, all because of my promotion, all because. And then wonderful people who have a lot of work to be done, they are deterred. I'm not going to say these are small issues, but in the bigger picture of life, they become everyday issues. And I will never forget that when we go deeper in Spiritism, which is about the practice, not only our inner, but also the practice of Spiritism, mediumship. Hermínio Miranda, in a book that is yet to be translated, Diálogo com Sombras, Dialogue with the Shadows, if I may. In the introduction, he says, and I have the book right here in front of me, may you not be discouraged by difficulties, apparently insignificant. And he goes hand in hand with Jesus telling us, do not let yourself be deterred by the small problems of everyday life. Let's keep on marching. If we're talking about spreading it, I remember when Virginia was born, well, we have to dodge it. What if we had stopped cardiac radio back then? What if we had stopped the Spiritist Society of Virginia? Because I know people, when they get pregnant, they say, I know here in the United States, there was a center. The president and the vice president, they were women. They got pregnant. They called me and they said, we are going to stop because we have to be moms. And then I asked, where is it written that you have to stop? Especially if you are only committing yourself to once a week meetings. It's not that you're going to be there all day long, every day. But if we stop doing our share in the whole work, the whole is going to miss, is going to lose. So here is an encouragement, as Hermínio Miranda is saying, no matter the hardships, no matter the difficulties, no matter what happens, we need to keep on marching forward. And I agree with Stevan. We have more than enough in Portuguese. Now the time has come. Let's bathe the world in English-speaking Spiritism, because that's what the world needs. And we love French, and I know the French Spiritists are doing fantastic work, and the people who are in Spain and in other countries, but we need to spread it out. We're talking about the English-speaking Spiritism, and we can't be deterred. As Jesus said, and I will repeat in his words, all difficulties in the ascension happen because of the insignificant problems of the journey. This is Jesus' words. So we need to think about what is possibly deterring us and focus. And you know, the World Cup just ended. And I say, I have been following before the World Cup, then I became more big of a fan of Cristiano Ronaldo. He's super focused, super determined. And that's what we need to be in the Spiritism. When people think, it's over. No, we're just beginning and a new chapter, and a new chapter, and a new chapter. Because from now, from where we began to where we are now, I know people who are coming in now think, oh, we need more. I agree with you, but we have come a long way in the last 20 years, and there is much more to do. And we see an evident increase in resources, in groups, in the English-speaking language. We just needed to do our share. If everyone does their share, overcoming these insignificant problems, we will achieve the highest heights in spreading it. Don't you guys think?
Completely.
Yeah.
You know, it reminded me St. David, which is the patron saint of Wales. He says, "Do the small things, because
Yeah.
those are the ones who build things. People wanted to open this Spiritist center with lots of things. No, just open a study group, studying the gospel, studying the Spirit's book. That's how I started. I opened a group in my house, studying the Spirit's book and the gospel. And then, we went out and started studying with doing André Luiz and all sorts of things. It starts small. I studied the gospel and the Spirit's book because I have begun to read the Spirit's book again, and I thought, I never read this book before. And every time you go back to the beginning, to the Spirit's book, you say, oh my God, I never read this before. I didn't know this, because there's so much to learn in there. So we started with a little thing, started the gospel, started reading a chapter of the Spirit's book, and it grows from there, I think. Do the small things. I agree
And
with
don't be
Vanessa.
afraid of, because God will clear the way, will clear the path. That's faith. We should keep the faith.
It's that famous quote: if you want to change the world, start by changing yourself.
Yeah.
My friends, we have 2 minutes. What's the message in these 2 minutes we can give here?
I can tell one thing. If you know Spiritism, and you know that Spiritism is bringing you the idea of immortality, you know enough to share it. Please do it.
Thank you.
And I can say that you can start at any time reading the books and watching the videos and listening to the podcasts. Or I think there's no age to start. There's no religion. You can be at any, of any religion, and you still can learn about the spiritual life, the life after life, and it's about spirits and how can you become a better person. So there's no age for that. You can start at any time.
Yeah.
I would like to say only thank you for you all for your supporting in these 2 years of lives, working together, spreading Spiritism in several languages. And here we put some emails in Finland, Polish, Lithuania, but there are more. There are in Russian, etc., etc. So we are here. If you need any kind of information, we can support you. We can help you. You can ask, and we will try to find. If not in the same moment, the next week, next live. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you all for my beautiful friends here. All of you are illuminated in your rooms, and we have a good connection in a beautiful circle of love and light. Thank you all.
Thank you, my dear.
Okay,
Next
just
one.
very briefly, very quickly, I would like to say something. Sorry, I'm jumping before you said, but just very briefly, I think it's very important. I mean, we have this program now going for a long time, and you said a lot of things in Brazil and a lot of things in other countries going online, but no amount of online or studies online will substitute going to the books yourself. You really must get to the Spirit's book and read it. Even if you don't understand everything, just start, read it, and then read again. It does not substitute reading, studying the books. You need to have contact with what the spirits teach you, because you will bring things out of your own knowledge that is an experience that everyone must have. So it's lovely to have all those lessons, but reading and studying the books is basic, is fundamental to learn Spiritism, to have your own impression of what it is. Because I can say lovely things, but it's my impression. You would learn something more maybe than I can pass to you. So I think that's in this, I would say to people, read it because it's wonderful. It's really wonderful.
Yeah. Mr. Kemp.
Yeah, I think the Spiritist body of knowledge is really bringing to us the spiritual paradigm in a clear, logical, rational, factual way. And our world dramatically needs this to come out of the materialist paradigm because our planet is burning. So the change must now come very quickly. Selfishness, pride, violence, and so on must be substituted by humility, fraternity, solidarity, and so on, because otherwise the human may disappear from the earth. A lot of people are warning now from these things. So that's a huge motivation from us to disseminate this rational spiritualist body of knowledge, which is Spiritism, in order to prepare this necessary change right now. And that is coming. We all know, we remain confident. It will come, it will change. It's just a question of time. So our little duty is just to do what we can with the possibilities we have to bring our contribution to it. Thanks a lot to all of you, and hoping having a next commemoration next year
Yeah, let's go for the
after
third
with
year.
150 lives.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Apologies. Sorry. So let's share my screen. Let's give the announcements for next week. Let me do here.
By the way, there is a wonderful comment from Camille. Thanks a lot for sharing your thoughts and your feeling with us. It's also encouraging us a lot.
Thank you, Camille. Thank you. So next week, 8th of February, we will have the top characteristics of mediumship. So stay close to us next Wednesday at 9 p.m. London time. What more? This Sunday, we will have the second episode of the series of talk about Gabriel Delane. And our friend Alexandre Caldini will do his job talking about reincarnation. So let's find out what Gabriel Delane wrote and what was his thinking about reincarnation. Okay? For those who are seeing this for the first time, this is a series of talks about Gabriel Delane every first Monday of each month. One of our friends will be here talking about Gabriel Delane until December. In UK, it's starting tomorrow and goes up the 12th of February. Mediumship workshop with Florence Anton. We will have meetings in London and outside of London. Also, 2 meetings in English, which my friend here, Silvia, will be the translator. So, no excuse to join.
Yes, I will.
On the 18th of March, Children and Youth Education Summit. So the topic of this year is challenges and opportunities in youth, children spiritist education. So more details, it is to come. Every other Tuesday, we have the study of the book No Solar with Guilherme Dias, Time to Talk with Guilherme Rafael Caldas, and every Saturday at 10:30 a.m. London time, the Medium's book course with Munir Gariba, Charles Kempf, and Guilherme Dias. And this is it from me, my friends. Thank you very much for for your time. Thank you for having me here. I'm learning a lot, and I hope we go for the third, the 30th, the 300, and it's a pleasure to be part of this, let's say, friends gathering. Talking about gathering, for those who are in Europe, I can see here from a lot of messages on the chat in Czech, in Finn, in Polish. We do have our European gathering every last Saturday of the month. So we do have a talk, a conversation with those spiritists who are in Europe. So please, everyone is more than welcome to join us. That's it. Thank you very much, my friends. I'll see you next Wednesday. Vanessa,
Super.
once again, renew our contract for another year. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
See
Bye.
you.
Thank you, everyone.